What's up? It's me, Nate Jackson, Criterion guy of your dreams and nightmares and everything in between. Back with another Criterion review. I know I said I was doing this either yesterday or Thursday, but plans change sadly. But got a new plan, which I'll reveal later. But yeah, for now, let's talk about number 24. High and low, high and low. Hello. So, it's Akira Kurosawa. This is our second Akira Kurosawa movie in the Criterion Collection, as well as the second longest movie. At 143 minutes, this is the second longest movie. With Seven Samurai was like 207 minutes. So there you go. The Japanese know how to make long movies, and they do. Yeah. Kurosawa does. I mean, he's got a lot to say apparently. The samurai movies weren't very long, but maybe it's because the story didn't. But whatever. But yeah, there's a lot in this movie, and it's a treat. It's a real treat. Basically, it's about a guy who makes shoes. He's a business owner who wants to be bought out, and tries to wants people to sell his. They want him to sell his share in the company or something like that, and all this stuff. But this doesn't really matter too much until you find out that his son is kidnapped. They're just sitting around talking about this, and their sons are playing, and then suddenly they get a call saying their son is kidnapped, and it's weird. And then they find out that their son is alright, and they ended up kidnapping the wrong son. Because they were playing a game and they changed clothes, and so the kidnapper thought that they kidnapped the shoemaker's son, whose name is Gongo? Gongo. Let's refer. Gongo. Cast. Gondo. Kingo Gondo. Gondo's son. So yes, but he still wants to save him because they actually kidnapped the son, Shinichi, who's the son of who's the son? Aoki, yeah, his chauffeur's son, Aoki. And so so he's like, I guess he won 3 million yen, or 30 million yen, I think, for the son and all that, and they finally get the cops involved, and they trace the call, and they phone the things, and it all takes place from the apartment. In fact, I think the first the first whole hour of the movie is in the apartment. It takes place in the apartment, and then we finally they set up a deal where they're going to drop the money off on a train, and so it's fine. There's about a 10-15 minute scene on the train where it's really exciting. And he gets calls from the train, and they have to drop it up from these little windows, and you can see the people, and they take photos of them, and then then they try to figure out, they get the son back, but he pretty much spent his entire life savings and is now going to be in debt if they don't get the money back from the kidnapper. And so there's this whole great scene with the police all putting together the clues, and they talk about how he mentioned that he was hot, and so he must have been calling from a phone booth because they heard a coin dropping. So they measured they put the temperature and all that, and they measured all the different temperatures in all the different phone booths, and one of them's shaded, so they crossed that one off the list. And I was just sitting there holy crap, that's amazing. And they actually show the people doing this stuff. It's not they're just sitting around talking about it. They show them interviewing people, and it's jumping around to different bits, and so it's this whole big thing. And that was one of the cooler scenes. And eventually we do meet the kidnapper. He's this really young guy who's a medical intern or something. He's a nurse in a hospital. And Aoki, tries to get his son to remember things, and he ends up drawing a photo, and it matches him because he has this watch on that he never takes off, or some bracelet or something. And so from that they have a kind of a bit better clue, and so they know they go to the hospital, and they find him, and so they find out that he's a heroin junkie, or he had 2 accomplices who died, or they think they died over heroin. He might have killed them. And so yeah, so they follow him. They eventually follow him to this, night of this bar where a heroin drop's going to take place, and he ends up doing it, and he eventually like takes this junkie to this seedy hotel to test the heroin on her to find out if it's pure. I believe that's how it goes. I kind of got a little lost during that bit, but basically, yeah, they eventually, they once they realize what he's doing, they run back to the hideout, and he makes it there, and they're already there waiting for him. They ambush him, and he's kidnapped, and so they send him off to jail. However, by this point, when they get, they've gotten almost all the money back, apart from like I think 40, 50,000 yen, but they were too late. Gonko's stuff has already been repossessed and going off for auction, and so he loses pretty much everything he's owned, and he has to get a new job as with a rival shoe company, rivaling his own company, his former own company. And it's just a trip that that's how it ends. But of course the big scene is the final scene where he and the Gonko and the kidnapper finally meet face to face. And the scene takes it's like 6 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes maybe. It's just them talking, and it's revealed that I guess he was jealous. He was jealous of how high up he lived, or like the height of his living, or something like that. It's a bit confusing at the end, but you don't really hear him say a lot until that scene, and that's where the actor, who's the actor's name? There's an interview with him. What is his name? Tutsumu Yamazaki. Sutomu Yamazaki. I don't practice these things, but anyway. And and that's how it ends. It pretty much ends with him screaming in pain because he got a death sentence, but and it's just like he's just so like. It's like the whole thing is like he keeps saying like, oh, you don't think I'm afraid because to know that I sort of won because you lost, but at the same time, at the very last thing, he just screams and they pull him back in. They draw the gate down, and that's how the movie ends. And it's like it's a mind blower. So yeah, Kurosawa. I mean, thinking about Seven Samurai, I mean, like the length, like what he puts into his movies, like the sets they designed, and just like how many times they did takes, things like that. And it's just a trip. I mean, it's hard to talk about this one. A little bit hard to talk about it because it's just one of those. This is one of those movies you actually have to see for yourself, and I was actually pretty damn impressed. And because of that, I'm giving it an A. I'm giving it I'm giving it an A plus. Fuck that. This was High and Low. It was an amazing freaking movie. And it's actually one I might actually consider buying just because. And yeah, I mean, it's a great story, shot well, kept you on the edge of your seat. His Kurosawa's attention to detail is just sick beyond belief. So yeah, it gets an A plus. It's a masterpiece. And I say that, and I'm gonna say that again, looking at the camera. It's a masterpiece. Supplements. There's a 37-minute documentary of the making of High and Low, created as part of the Toho Masterworks series. Akira Kurosawa, it is wonderful to create. It's basically just like the thing they had on Seven Samurai, except it's about High and Low. So they talk about different scenes. They have interviews with the actors, the film design, the designers and directors, and the director, of course. Not so much actually with Kurosawa. A little bit with Kurosawa, but most of it is just with the actors and the set designers and things like that. And they talk about there's this great scene where they had a clue where the sun's running. And they talk about this pink smoke, and Kurosawa had to do the spot coloring, where the whole shot's in black and white until this one scene where they had to color. They colored in the smoke to make it pink. So that's the only scene. And you can tell around the black and white looks a little different around them for just that scene. It was just so trippy. And I was just like, wow. So yeah, so they talk about that. No, I was hoping they would, because that was just such a kicker of a scene. And yeah, no, it's a really nice making, a nice little making of, with details all around to help explain and interest the viewer and blah blah blah. And then there's an interview with Toshiro Mifune, the star, the man, slowly becoming one of the cooler actors I've ever seen. I mean, not just because of him in that, and from the Samurai series, and from Seven Samurai, and it just goes, his list. I hope his list goes on and on. I know he's in a couple more that we'll be seeing in the Criterion collection. I think Kajishimura. I think. God, there's a couple others. I don't remember, but we'll get to them when we get to them. But yeah, it's him on an interview on a Japanese talk show called Tetsuko no Haya, or Tetsuko's Room, or something like that. It's kind of weird, because the interviewer is just one of those, oh, yes, or so, I guess. So. She's just in awe of the man. And honestly, I'd be too, but just like, just a little like hamming it. It felt like she was hamming it up, But he is a pretty down to earth guy, I mean, this was back when he was 62, 61 at the time, I think he said. So it was just great to hear him talk, and he's a really nice guy. Just to see him smile and laugh and all that. And then there's a new interview that they did with Tsutomu Yamasaki, who played the kidnapper and interviewer. 20-minute interview with him talking about his bits and his memories of Kurosawa and all his memories of making the film. And it was done specifically for the Criterion collection, so it must have been done in 2008, because that's when this printing was. And then the trailers. The Japanese trailer was... The trailers are really weird. I mean, the trailer, first of all, it shows the ending. It actually shows the ending that Kurosawa cut. So it was put in there, and he ended up cutting it from the main film, so I'm sure people may have been confused if they remember the trailer really well. But it kind of it shows the ending, and then it tries to talk about the movie going backwards. Interesting technique. Kind of weird. The teaser, kind of the same. But the US trailer, oh my god. Pretty much, there's no dialogue in the trailer. Pretty much all of it is it just shows, the stupid, the suspense is killing in high and low. Suspense. And it shows all these stupid quotes from the New York Times, and it's just like, oh god, Americans. Fucking Americans, I swear. And that's it. That's all. Like I said, high and low, this is one that you consider getting. Who knew that, I mean, I'm looking out for the Kurosawa. I'm looking forward to the rest of the Kurosawa movies. I mean, I was pretty impressed with Seven Samurai. The length was just a little mind-blowing. And, just the ending was a little sad at the end. But High and Low, overall, was just a sick movie. One that I will see again within my lifetime. Because, like I said, I'll probably end up buying it someday. And yeah, that's all I got. So, if you haven't seen High and Low, now you have all the more reason to. So get it. Alright, number 25. Alphaville. Let's talk about the next couple of movies. Right now, so for those of you who don't know, I record music underneath the name The Point of Realization. And I'm coming up on my first year anniversary of recording music, and I'm releasing I used to release, an EP every month on the 28th, and then a single every month on the 14th. So I'd release at least one song and 5 or 6 songs in a bunch. But it's just because I only wanted to do it for 1 year, because it slowly became really taxing sometimes to try and crank music out. I mean, I'm proud of everything I've done. Well, almost everything I've done, but yeah. But at the same time, I want to have enough time to have this last kind of bang, a really good one. So, like, I mean, I'm gonna do this one and then kind of just take off the schedule. I'm still gonna make music, but it's just gonna I'm just gonna stop forcing myself to schedule my music and all that. So I'm gonna take a bit of a hiatus until the end of the month from this, so I can keep working on my music. I do want to do the next at least 4 movies. I want to do so tomorrow. We're gonna do Alphaville, and then I think Monday we'll do The Long Good Friday, and then Tuesday we'll do Flesh for Frankenstein, and then we might do both Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula on Tuesday. We might do a double feature one of these times, or we might just do it on Wednesday. Yeah, Blood for Dracula might be on Wednesday. I'm not sure. But yeah, after Blood for Dracula, I'm gonna take a break until about the 29th, 30th, after the release is done. So I probably won't start till February 1st or whenever I can get. I'll put a hold on M as soon as I can. I think M is the one after Blood for Dracula. I think it's M, then Great Expectations, and then I don't know what's after that. No, I'm forgetting. Oh no, it's Picnic at Hanging Rock is after Blood for Dracula. Picnic at Hanging Rock will be done. So Picnic at Hanging Rock, M, and Great Expectations will be coming the next month, February. So yeah, it's a bit of an announcement. Yeah, so we're gonna do 4 more movies, and then we're gonna take a break just for a while because I do want to get these done because like I said, they're still releasing them 600 or so. All right, that's it for me. Let's end this so we can get to uploading because it takes forever because these files are so friggin' big and so long and blah 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 blah. So yeah, so check back tomorrow for Alphaville. And yeah, I'll try to figure out. Might do a double feature on Monday or Tuesday. Not sure yet, but we'll see. But definitely tomorrow, Alphaville. So until then, goodbye.